Hi guys, my name is Becca. Welcome back to my channel. Today I am here with another weekly reading check-in. This one is the last for September, beginning of October. It's like the very beginning of October. But we're getting into the books that I ended at September with and started October with. The thing is that I didn't make a weekly check-in last week. Technically that's a lie. I did make it, but I never ended up putting that up because I just was really sick that day, and I literally just could not post that video. So, yeah, here we are, and I'm going to talk about these books again in this video, and just talk about what I'm currently reading as well. What I am currently watching at the moment is Bleach. I am 57 episodes in out of over 300. So I'm making my way. I just started the other day, so I'm watching like 10 to 15 episodes a day, roughly. And yeah, I'm loving it. So there's that. I've seen Bleach before, but I've never watched it all the way through. I've only seen like certain episodes. So I'm having fun. And so yeah, that's really all I'm currently watching. Other than like Masked Singer, which is weekly. I did watch the first episode. I still have to watch the second. But I love it. It's amazing. And I'm so glad it's back. So yeah. Okay. Now we can talk about the books that I read for the end of September. So firstly, we have Shadows and Death by J.D. Robb. I think I was currently reading this the last check-in I did. And I really enjoyed this. I gave this 4.5 stars, so I rounded up to a 5 just because Goodreads doesn't allow you to do 0.5 stars, which really upsets me. But yeah, so Shadows and Death really goes more in depth into Rorik's past. It brings someone from his past, what's it called? You get to meet someone from his past, and this really goes into how Rorik's past was, even though we already know, but like more in depth into it. And just what he's going to do now, with this certain person from his past. And this person says that they are his they're his family, even though we don't know if that's true. But yeah, I suck at synopses, you guys know that. So, in the very beginning of this, we find a woman who's murdered in a park. And normally for these books, we go through the mystery of who killed her, why, all of that. But in the very beginning of this, in like the first 100 pages, you know why she died, you know who killed her, you know everything. Really, all it is the manhunt for the guy from Rorik's past. That's it. And yeah, it's very dark. It's pretty intense. The one thing I was missing from this was the light from a lot of books. When they get too dark and too intense, you get a little bit of light to just break up the darkness. And this one, you didn't really get that. So, but Eve's life is in danger. Rorik's life is in danger. Everybody's in danger. But the whole cop force and Rorik's people, they all come together and take this bitch down. And it was really good. So yeah, 4.5 stars. Really happy that I read that. That's the 51st book in the In Death series. So yeah, that's pretty far into the series. That's the newest book too. Next up, I read My Lady's Choosing by Kitty Curran and Larissa Zagaris. Hopefully I pronounced that right. It's an interactive romance novel. It's pretty much a choose your own romance. And there's so many different paths you could take. I didn't take every path, but I did take the path for the main love interest. So there's like 4 main love interests that you can choose between. And then there's also a few other paths that lead you to other love interests. So I did a path for each of the main love interests, and then a path for one of the like side love interests. And I have to say I wasn't impressed by this. I really tried. I first went with a Scott. So he's very much like a Jamie character. And I was like, from Outlander, if you didn't know. So I'm like, I'm going to go with Jamie. His name is actually Mac, but I'm like, okay, I'm going to go with him. And by the end of this path, I was like, okay. So this is pretty sexy. It has sex scenes in it, but some of the phrases or words that are used during this time is just not sexy at all, and I did not enjoy that. So then I went away from his path, like I finished his, and then I went to another path, and this one brought me to this lord who's just like an asshole, kind of. He's witty, but he's just, an asshole, but apparently we like that kind of shit. And that guy, the thing that really upset me was, so when it deviates, when you have to actually choose which, like where you're going to go, are you going to go this way, or are you going to go that way, pretty much. I tried to pick the route that was going to take me to the end of the path for the one person I chose, but for some reason, I ended up going with the another person, and I didn't choose that. I didn't want to, and the phrasing that was used in order to like choose your own, like where you're gonna go, did not help. Like, I thought I was going with the guy that I chose, but instead I was brought to the woman, and I was gonna choose her next because there's three male love interests, and there's one female, which I really like because it tries to give you everything. And I was gonna go with her next, and I was really upset because I didn't want to choose her yet. And when I did, like when I actually got to her, or when I deviated from him and went to her, it brought me to this place. I didn't know where I was at. I didn't know who the people I was around, but apparently you're supposed to know who they are. It was just, I don't think it was fleshed out as well as it could have been. And then I finally went back to him. That was whatever. Again, like, I just don't think these paths are really fleshed out enough. And some of the times that, you're actually, the routes that you choose take you to a place that you don't know where the frick you're at. You don't know who the people around you are, but you're supposed to know them. And it's not great. And then finally the last path was the single father, who is a lord, and he's kind of a brooding type. It kind of reminds me of Jane Eyre. Your character is supposed to be the governess for this young child. And it's kind of like ghost-like, which is fine. I think that was my favorite path through all, just because I liked the ghost-like aspect of it, and I liked, the brooding single father. I like kids, so obviously I was gonna like his path, but I didn't get enough of it. It just was so short, and I was a little upset. So overall, I'm gonna give this 2 stars. It just wasn't really good. It wasn't fleshed out enough, and the routes didn't flow well. So yeah, unfortunately, that didn't go as well as I would hoped. Okay. Next up, I read Rhapsodic by Laura Thalassa, something like that. This is the first book in the Bargainer series. Becca from Becca and the Books absolutely raves about this series, and I think she's only read the first 2 books so far. But Rhapsodic, we follow, what's your name? Callie. So we follow Callie, who is a siren, and when she was really young, she made a deal with the Bargainer, who is this, what's it called? This fae prince from the fae world. And she ends up making a deal with him because she ends up killing her stepfather, and she's really young. She's a minor, but she wants to get away with it, for reasons. Like, she killed her stepfather for reasons. And, so she ends up making a deal with him to make it go away. And then, later on ends up making more and more deals with him. And so many deals that, like, there's these black beads that represent each deal that she made and each IOU that she owes him now, and they go all the way up her arms, and there's over 300. And they just become friends, and then one day he just disappears. 7 years later, he's back, and he wants all of those IOUs back. So she owes him everything. This was so good. It hooked me pretty much from like the first 50 pages. I absolutely loved this book. I gave this 5 stars. It was so good. I loved the friendship between her and the bargainer and the relationship between them, and the romance was so good. Oh my god, I love this book a lot. I could definitely understand why her books, are compared to the ACOTAR series, because this one I could definitely see like this is the beginning of Akamath, and then I think with the second one, with how that's kind of where this book led to the second book, it feels like that one's going to be more of the middle of Akamath, and then we'll see how the third book ends, if it's like the ending, because this just definitely feels like it's going to be the full Akamath book in 3 parts. But yeah, I absolutely loved it. No surprise there. If it's compared to Akamath, I'm pretty much going to love it. And yeah, I gave this 5 stars. Next up, I finished Heart of Flames by Nikki Paparetto. Sorry. So this is the sequel to Crown of Feathers, which I absolutely loved last year. That book was so good. It's got to do with Phoenix Riders, and our main character, Veronica, and her sister Val are orphans, and they come across this phoenix egg. They believe it's the very last phoenix egg, and they hatch it, and once that phoenix hatches, it will it will only, how do I say it, like connect to one person. So it's either Veronica or Val or neither, and it ends up connecting to Veronica. And so that pisses Val off completely. Veronica then goes in search of other Phoenix Riders, because she hears rumors that these Phoenix Riders are still about. And she wants to find them and join them. And help take down the Empire that has literally just pretty much destroying everything. They didn't... Seriously, they have to come out now. They want to destroy, or they want to kill all Phoenix Riders, because of a war that happened so long ago, between Phoenix Riders, and that pretty much, took down the monarchy, how should I say? But yeah, so I really, really enjoyed the first book. The second book, Heart of Flames, was good. I started listening to an audiobook a long time ago, got halfway, and the audiobook on script just kept glitching out. So I had to stop doing that, and they finally got the ebook in, so I decided to just pick it up then. I will say I wish I could have listened to the audiobook more, because I did really enjoy the audiobooks. But it was still good. I really enjoyed Veronica and Tristan and the relationship. Tristan is another Phoenix Rider. I enjoyed Sev's chapters as well. So this book is multi-perspective. You get Veronica, Tristan, Sev, Val. You get a lot of different characters' chapters. My favorite chapters were definitely Veronica and Tristan's. Sev's were good. Val's not so much. Val's not a character I ever liked, so knew that was coming. But yeah, I definitely really enjoyed Sev. Sev is beginning to start this male-male romance that is just like, I need more and more, and I can't wait for the third book, because I'll definitely see more of that. So Veronica and Tristan, Sev and Cade, they're my favorite characters right now, and I can't wait to see how, with the end of this book, which was insane, I can't wait to see how the third book is going to play out. So I gave that book 4 stars. Okay, next up, we have Love from A to Z by S.K. Ali. This one is about 2 Muslims. One has MS, which is Adam, and Zainab, she is just, how should I say this? So Adam, because of his MS, decided to drop out of, I think it's college. And Zainab is still in high school. I think she's a senior in high school. And she has been suspended because of trying to take down the hate and the Islamophobia that has definitely been apparent in that school. One of her teachers is completely Islamophobic and has been hating on Zainab ever since she joined his class. And one day, when her and a friend of hers are trading notes back and forth, they talk about trying to get him fired, and that just starts her suspension. And then she ends up traveling to her aunt's place, and that's where she meets Adam, and the two of them together meet, and they fall in love, and it's really cute. I did love discovering more about MS, because I don't know too much about it. Adam's mom did pass away from it. So I liked the discussion about MS and about grief and loss. This definitely delves well into that. And I liked the discussion about Islamophobia and about hate and racism and, everything about that. But I will say Zainab can feel anger about any little thing, and that can kind of upset me. It's just like somebody will say one thing and not really mean it the way that she thinks they're meaning it. And so of course she takes it the wrong way, and boom, it's over. She goes kind of insane. And I didn't really love all of her anger. Like, some of it was definitely directed where it should be, and I totally understood it. But then there are times I'm just like, girl, just chill the fuck out. Just stop. And a lot of it has to do with directing towards Adam, and that just like kind of upset me. So I ended up giving this 3 stars. I did like their romance, and I liked their friendship, and the discussions in this book, but overall I didn't love this book as much as I wanted to. Like, it was good, it was fine, but it wasn't amazing. It didn't blow me away, so I gave it 3 stars. Next up, we have Fortuna Sworn by KJ Sutton. This is another fae romance book that Becca from Becca in the Books has been recommending a lot. So this one, let me think about this one. Oh, this one we follow Fortuna, who is a nightmare. And she can make your fears come to life, kind of, pretty much. Like, if she touches you, you're going to feel all your fears and, like, see them. And one day she ends up meeting this fae who says that he can help her find her brother. Her brother has gone missing a couple years back, and she's been looking for him everywhere, and so this fae says that he can help her find it. The only thing is that she has to marry him in order to get her in there and accept his help. Or in order for him to help her, that they have to get married first. And this ends up bringing her into this fae world where she meets all these other dangerous fae, and she sees her brother, who is a slave to one of the other really dangerous fae. And this also, she finds out that her husband is the king of the fae, and she ends up competing to be, or like undergoing these trials in order to become the queen of the fae, and that's the only way she can free her brother. I ended up giving this 2 stars. No, I ended up giving this 3 stars. I thought it was 2. But yeah, I ended up giving it 3 stars. I wanted to love this so badly, but I just didn't. There just wasn't enough of the romance. I just felt like it was a lot of tell and not show, and it just kind of upset me a little. So, I mean, I was just like, it's fine, it is what it is, but I just didn't love it. So, yeah. I ended up giving that 3 stars. I might read the sequel just to see how it goes, but I don't know if I really want to. We'll see, because I have to pay for it. If I could get it for free, I would do it, no problem. But I have to pay for it, so I don't know. We'll see. Alright, last book that I finished was Serious Moonlight by Jen Bennett. This one was one of the books to read from the Booktuber's Favorites. So this is from my bucket. And I have to say, I actually enjoyed this a lot more than I thought. This was a recommendation from Julie from Pages and Pens. And I had tried to read this before and just couldn't get into it. So then I finally picked it up again this month. And I have to say, I really enjoyed it. I think I gave this 4 stars. I want to say I gave it 4 stars. Yes, I did. So this one we follow Birdie and Daniel. And in the very beginning of this book, you learn that the two of them have had sex. They've had a one-night stand, and that was it. They never saw each other again until Birdie got a new job at this hotel where Daniel works. And so how awkward is that to see your one-night stand working with you? And Daniel doesn't know why it was only a one-night stand. He really liked Birdie, and he doesn't understand why she ran away from him after that night. And then you learn why, and you also learn just more about these characters. Birdie is really into mysteries and detective-like stuff, and Daniel brings her this mystery to figure out why this author who what's it called? This author who's never out, reclusive? Is that what I can't think of words. But this author who never really shows his face, why he is checking into this hotel every day at this one time under a pseudonym, and what's going on there. And so that's the whole mystery you kind of go throughout, but it's also about the relationship and talks. They have a lot of discussions about themselves. Birdie has narcolepsy, which is something I don't think I've ever seen in books, but she has narcolepsy. And Daniel, Daniel is deaf in one ear because of something that happened a few years back. So the discussions that they have is just really good. I will say there are trigger warnings for talk of attempted suicide and I guess you could say like untreated symptoms and grief and death, and yeah. So this section was really good. Not gonna lie, I did like the discussions that it brought in this book. And I like the romance between the two. Definitely Birdie could be kind of insufferable for a while. Daniel could also be kind of stupid. There are times where they both kind of pissed me off, but it actually comes together really well, and I really enjoyed just their friendship and their relationship and just everything about it. So yeah, 4 stars. This is actually pretty good. Alright, lastly, let's talk about the books that I'm currently reading. That should only take a little bit. So, I'm currently reading Archangel's War by Nalini Singh. This is, if it'll press on it, this is the 12th book in the Guild Hunter series, and really, there it goes. So this is the 12th book in the Guild Hunter series, and we're following Elena and Raphael and just everything that's going on in that. I am 140 pages in so far. I just started it yesterday. It's really good. The events of what happened after, or the end of the 11th book, going into this book is insane. And I just keep learning more and more, and I'm absolutely loving it. So that's that one. I'm also listening to The Turn of the Key by Ruth Ware, which is another book that I picked out of my bucket for the Booktuber's Favorite Books of 2019. This one was a recommendation from Kayla from Books and Lala. And so far, I'm listening to the audiobook and I'm actually really enjoying it. I am 92 pages in, and I just started this yesterday. So far, so good. I'm really enjoying this. We have talk of ghosts. So we'll see how that goes. And then lastly, I haven't started reading this yet, but I am going to start reading this tonight, and that is A Rogue of One's Own by Evie Dunmore. the sequel or companion to Bringing Down the Duke by Evie Domar. And so I am definitely going to start reading this tonight. This is going to be my physical book. So I have an ebook, I have an audiobook, and a physical book, and I'm just going to be reading a lot. Hopefully this weekend I can finish these 3 books, and then we'll see how Monday goes and when I start reading then. But Archangel's War as well as A Rogue of One's Own both have to do with the Slayer Fest. What's it called? The Slayer Fest readathon that is happening for all of October. I talk about that in my TBR, which I haven't posted yet. So I'll probably end up posting that on Sunday. So you'll just know prematurely what I'm reading for that. Just a little bit, because I have quite a bit of books that I'm reading for that readathon. So yeah, that's it for me today, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you again with another. Bye. Happy reading, guys.